single day I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Hey, what's up, guys? So today I'm going to do a new series. It's gonna be called Locals Challenge. I came up with this because I wanted to try to challenge myself in different scenarios. And then the scenario I wanted to put myself into was playing a leader, which wasn't conventionally used, and try to win with it to the best of my abilities. So the reason why I really want to do this was because I wanted to broaden my perspective on what I could do in terms of knowing how cards interact and using different strategies. So that's the main reason why I did a locals challenge. Plus, it's also fun. So this locals challenge, I don't know if I want my locals challenge to be simply taking leaders that are unconventionally used and taking it and then modifying it to where I can win the tournament. So I could either just have it solely that, or I can do something like strange where where I start with like 5 cards in my hand, or 4, or just like stupid stuff like you know, tell my opponent that he's or she is distracting to me in every match, but most likely it's going to be something serious like taking an unconventional leader and then doing well with it. So the leader I decided to use for my locals yesterday was Cooler. The reason why I wanted to play with Cooler was because when he begins the game, he takes out a card out of the deck, which is a Big Gate Star. So when you push Cooler into the leader area, you play this out. So which means you don't have to worry about the mulliganing step. That was like the main reason why I wanted to play him. Plus, this generates things into your drop area. But I couldn't figure out how to add overrun cards to this overall strategy, because I play the big 7 drop, which allows me to bring, it's like a +4 basically, because when you evolve on top of this, and he comes into play, you take out 2 coolers out of your drop area, and it could be either the generic 15k, it could be the generic 15k cooler, or it can be the awakening cooler, which is a 20k double striker. So that was the strategy I was trying to go for when I was playing this deck, just a really prepackaged Union Force idea. I also played the blocker, which comes in for free, and I also played the Meta Cooler Core. So one thing from set 3 that I tried to play from the yellow package was Nimbus Cloud. Nimbus Cloud allows me to basically end my opponent's turn in theory, and push harder with my 15Ks. So yeah, that was the theory behind playing this entire strategy. I also played Crusher Ball, right? And I also played No Sun Go Opening to awaken faster. So yeah, so I took this challenge and I ended up doing pretty poorly. I did it was 3 rounds only, and I only won my first round against Dr. Miyu, which is okay. I mean, it was a locals challenge. So I have two options. I can either I can still continue on with this challenge, and try to like make this deck really good over time, because that's what I tend to do. I tend to modify my deck and my playstyle over time, to try to win with it, and I also learn things about my deck as I keep playing with this deck. That's my strategy. That's kind of like how I think, anyways, or how I improve. I take the same deck or the same leader, and then I try to modify it like with cards that came into my scope, because now I know the interactions with this deck. So one thing I do want to talk about with Metacooler is that on his Awaken side, when I attack with him, when I swing with him, I could not have to mill anything and just add the cores to my hand. That's a strategy that I noticed that I could stop milling so I don't die or lose cards in my deck. So that's a good way of like because it says up to. When he attacks, it mills up to 3 as opposed to forcing it to mill 3. And the other thing that I keep forgetting about him is that when I have 3 or more meta coolers on the board, I can tap down one of my opponent's battle cards, which is kind of cool. Like he has a lot of utilities, which is weird. I didn't think he had that so much. He had that about him. And then so Big 8-star, when he comes in as a leader, he thins out my deck to 49. So if you think about it, I have a higher probability of drawing the cards that I want. But I play a lot of vanillas in this deck. I think I played 13 coolers in my deck for the locals challenge, and I thought that was kind of weird. I mean, that was kind of like a hindrance because you're basically playing a bunch of vanillas in your deck that can be played for cheaper than they cost with Big 8-star. So yeah, that was my locals challenge. So yeah, round 1 I played against Dr. Mew, which I won, and then round 2 I played against Mass Saiyan, which I lost, but I lost in style, which is great. I almost won that matchup, but I'll talk about it in my commentary for the. Unfortunately, I was only able to record the second round, which was the Mass Saiyan, which was my favorite matchup, by the way, even though I lost. And then last round I played against Yellow Bardock, which it was my friend Brian. I guess he also took a locals challenge too, which he decided to play Yellow Bardock and see how well he would do. So that was kind of cool too. We have the same mindset. We're like, oh, we know we're gonna do well with the conventional deck and the conventional leader. I mean, just conventional leader. But we're like, nah, we got to test ourselves. So we're gonna play an unconventional leader, which he played Yellow Bardock, and I played Metacooler. It's cool that we kind of have that same conclusion. We didn't plan this. It was kind of like we go to a place together, and then we showed up with the same outfit or the same color coordination. It was the same. We were both playing 2 yellow leaders, and we were both playing 2 unconventional leaders at the same time, which was kind of cool. So yeah. So in the next segment, I'll show you the Bardock or the Mass Saiyan versus Metacooler matchup. It's kind of cool because it kind of delves into what we were talking about, or what I was talking about for my meta predictions. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Hey, so this is the segment where I'm supposed to talk about my matchup here. So two of the big weaknesses of this deck is drawing way too much of the 7-drops early game. For some reason, I always draw all of them. So I always end up charging them because you can't really hardcast them and expect to get the +2 on the hardcast. Plus, these 7-drops. Do you normally add your life for a deck that isn't mana wrapping? The second weakness is Big 8-star. You have to get lucky sometimes and really hope to mill the meta coolers, but you don't want to play too much meta coolers to where you're playing a deck with complete vanillas. That's like the balance. So you have to construct this deck really well to maximize it very well. So yeah, those are 2 weaknesses I can address in this part of the segment.
Five, yay. If somebody loses 2 life, I put a counter on her. If she has 3 counters and someone discards a card, or a opponent card is put into a
This always hurts so much. Being double crit with +5, it's like impossible to stop in my first turn. So, ouch.
Like, unless it's like just
As you can see here, I drew yet another 7-drop. I don't know how these cards are so always together. It's the same with the cell chain. I always seem to draw all the cell chains all in the opening hand, even post mulligan. So that's, yeah, another weakness of this deck for this locals challenge I'll have to address later on. So we'll see if I can overcome this.
when it comes into play.
On both on and
The one.
I know. This tells you a lot. Yeah, I know it.
So you guys are probably wondering why I'm hitting the my opponents very consistently with my leader and my battle cards. Is because I want him to awaken, so that by turn 4 I can evolve my cooler with my awakening cooler. Basically, what he says is if my opponent's awakened, or I mean, if my opponent is at 4 or less life, I could awaken at whatever life I am at. It's basically a turn 4 results of training if I have a cooler on board that survives. Otherwise, it's a turn 5 result of training that's inherently in this deck. So it's a pretty cool strategy that I'm trying to do. But it forces me to be aggressive early game and rob them of their time. So here you can see him double strike me again. So he doesn't really care about playing the steady game because he's playing Mass Saiyan, which is an aggressive leader. But I guess I could have maybe bought more time by not attacking with my leader early game, and then keeping my manas untapped so that when he does double strike chomp on me, I'll have something to stop it. But I didn't mind awakening early. Awakening early allows me to have more advantage and keep him at bay. But with this strategy, I had to ditch the awakening with awakening cooler strategy.
Not effective. Yeah, he was. Were you passing?
Yeah.
What the heck, Spencer? I thought this guy's still alive. Thank you, dude. That was a huge upset for me, milling the 2 Dodorias. Luckily, I had 2 in my hand, but milling the 2 Dodorias definitely stopped me from winning this game because you'll see why.
7? No negates?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a 5 million. Yeah. That's all.
And it's your go.
There's something else too,
Combo.
No, I mean because it was already over by the time it was done. Like I want you to.
Faster.
Should have died when you did the second round. You had Nekizar and that thing out, the black red thing. So you drew 7 cards, okay? We took 1 damage from each of those, and 1 damage for each of riches. So you took 14. Doubled. It's 28. No. It's all good. I'm just saying. I could have killed. I didn't realize it until it was over.
Let's play Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah. But you go like a long time ago, probably when I was like 12.
12.
Go era. I think I stopped. I think I
Far from 12?
Yeah.
Okay.
12 years older.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and activate board up. Sure. Let's swing in.
Am I leader?
Yep.
Yeah,
so
leader.
No, it's not. We're gonna play another pod. We should have like they could have easily got seconded with
How much?
Good. Yeah, again, that's his 3rd one. So I don't know how he's doing this. He mills perfectly and he activates a card. So I'm a little salty at that point.
I mean, I was
Oh, did I?
35.
No, I don't have any other attacks.
Oh, no negates.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have, what's, I don't know what's that.
Technically, if I took you, your guys would come back out and you could block them next turn.
I will.
Well, no, because you put it back to command zone.
Oh, yeah. I had enough to pay it. Yeah, no, but it was just like if you have to waste your turn again to play it, like that's not trying to do that yet. Some big hobby.
Not against.
I'll add my... So at this point, you guys are seeing that I have 2 gate stars in my energy and 1 in the field. In theory, when I was middle of this deck, I thought I was going to be able to pull out more Metacoolers, infinite core from my deck, because when you're using the Metacooler one drop, you have to union absorb your field spell or your field into the one drop, and then play the infinite cooler from your deck. So there's a lot of opportunity cost that I have to pay, so that I can play my +4 card, which was the infinite core cooler.
I mean, can't combo against Ultra.
Four creatures.
All my collection is up.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, if you win,
No.
That'd be really
that would be
good.
epic as shit.
Yeah.
If I had one more mana, there's something
You gotta look early.
4:30.
Oh shit, time passed by quick.
What round is this?
2?
Round 2? Why not?
Yeah.
As long as it's out. You
Fine.
need to tap more
You
than
guys started late.
I think so, maybe. Or the round 1 was kind of
Why
long.
do you play that from the beginning?
Let's go ahead and do that.
Sure.
I mean, it would have slowed it way
Okay,
down.
well-
It would have been.
Yeah, I'm down. I don't know. Give me a breakfast combo. Anything with eggs, ham, or no, egg sausage.
Do they serve all their breakfast?
Yeah, they should.
one of these.
Anything with eggs and sausage.
What did I have?
Yeah, we have.
No combo.
We're pretty cool about like.
How big is it? 20?
20. 20 credits. This is like
I
a
cannot
just a
tap
little
every
breakfast sandwich burger thing. It was, yeah, like.
Both of those out right now would be.
Yeah, anything. Anything like that.
I'll be back.
Alright, thanks, babe.
What is it? Secret. I'm gonna go ahead and tap Warm Arsenal for Maggots to go 10 floating. And then I'm gonna do.
It's at my upkeep. I get the.
Unrelenting Assault.
Valiant effort, though, dude. Yeah, good job. That was fun.
Yeah.
Dude,
That was terrifying.
Swing in.
I was just, and then I was like,
No combos.
mana screwed? Is that why?
No, we have all the artifacts. We have all the land through that.
I do a lot of
Just instead of
Oh, so when there was that board clear in the beginning,
That was all his land.
that was everything.
Because
I'm sitting here like,
Yeah.
I can't do this.
You
by
weren't
myself.
I was trying.
It shut you down.
No, and I
happened
did.
him.
When you did that whole tab, I'm like, that, like, essentially, I knew exactly what you're doing. You're like, go. And I'm
Go
like,
after him.
run.
I'll pass turn.
I was waiting until I had some of my big dudes out.
Come back to my
Because I
hand.
saw that one too.
Yeah.
And that scared me because I was at like 15, and I'm like, if you get a couple of fatties on the field, I'm done.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need to figure out a way, like, how do I get my life total up? Because blue-red is just this filthy burn
Check that out.
control.
It's fun. I really like this deck. I have some.
Because have you heard of Keranos?
Yeah.
My brother plays Keranos. So he'll like on one turn
This dude.
kill everybody for like 60 damage
Yeah.
with these combos. And he'll like tap double everything, and it'll just be out of nowhere. Like he'll tutor for 1 or 2 things, and then like 45 damage to each person, and he just walks away. It's a blue-red.
Combo one.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a lot of cards.
Tackle cooler?
So Kyle,
What?
Poppy,
No combo.
Andrew.
No combo.
Okay.
Tackle
So first.
So I was waiting for that.
You guys are all done?
That's my favorite part.
All right, let Robert know.
Yeah.
No negates.
This one would have been.
I'll take that one.
That's the one I was waiting for.
Got 2 life.
How did they turn it back up though?
I don't know. I always just assumed when they died, they just did it.
I think you have to have something that makes it change for a set.
Yeah, usually.
15 again?
Yeah.
Negates.
That's why I like that card. There's really a lot you can do with that after it's out.
It has reclamation stage, acidic slime.
By the way, you did
Tackle 15 again?
Works.
No
Yeah, me
negates.
too.
I had a couple of plays.
I felt like we each,
Well, it's like,
we all held our own.
Wow. Okay.
The best plan on that is I just played on the Mac. I should have
didn't expect you to go that low.
because I thought it was something else.
I can eat that.
I'm really bad on Robert,
So I have to read every single one. You're gonna be doing a new pod.
the last time I did this,
Undone kills.
If that got changed, that's a stupid ass rule.
I think like just the fact that
I
I
heard
managed
that,
to get that thing and like clear everything on
No,
like
if I'm not
start
mistaken,
5
you
or
can
6.
still redirect damage to plants.
Like, I don't think there's many decks
I
that
think
can
you
do
should be able
that
to,
too.
but I just did hear that. It's fine.
well, mass artifact removal pretty easy.
Yeah.
That
Like,
was
as
it.
stupid as
He
that,
had
you can't
three
redirect them
artifacts.
how
I
you
had
get one.
one. You had like two enchantments or something like that. I mean, it was a good.
But can you
pull.
turn
It was.
There's a
Me?
good.
I have,
Yeah.
Alright, so, we're gonna do the winner pod and then everybody else group up or what? Is that what we wanna do?
Why not
We wanna end it here or what? Keep playing? Cool. So, Mason, Doug, Kyle S, and Javier. Those are the 4 top players, yes. Then Andrew,
Javier?
Spencer, Kevin, Rich, and Kyle Z over here on the 5th player pod.
Yeah, dude, that bouncing was just disgusting. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out
Hey,
how do I kill you?
you got this.
Wait, so where was the winner?
Right here, the 4.
So then 4 cards in hand?
4 cards.
I have not heard anything. Yeah, I haven't heard anything. No comment.
With the warrior?
Oh, you switched to, did you used to have that room?
I still have
That
that.
was good.
Yeah, I wanted something that was more like interact with the group.
Go ahead.
The Airbus is the shit.
Bloodlust?
Yeah, I have.
Well, I can't play. Yeah, this was so good here. I really wanted to end have the game ended like this because Bardock basically destroyed my whole board and was able to come in with triple strike exactly how to end the game. I think looking back, I don't think I did anything wrong. I Nimbus clouded his leader's attack, and then that means he can only attack one more time. And with 3 life, that's not much damage. But yeah, he kind of like he had the super combo, and I look back in this game and he the way he drew. I attacked his life last turn, and the card that he drew from his life was the 4-drop Bardock, where he can overwhelm for 4 and was able to play it. And on his draw, for his draw, he drew the evolved Bardock. So everything was stacked favorably for him. Also, another thing I noticed is that when he did attack with Bardock, he drew a super combo after the Nemesis. So we calculated the damage, so it was 70, I believe. So the super combo got him a 5k. So if you minus 70 minus 15, that's 55. I had about, let's see, 25, 35, 45. I couldn't even combo it anyway. So if I had survived after the Nimbus Cloud move, where I Nimbus Clouded the Bardock attack instead of the Bardock, the game would have been a little different. I would have had another turn, and then I would have Union absorbed my Metacooler core, the 1-drop, into the Infinite core. I looked through my deck at the end of the game, and I only had 0. I had 0 Infinite core left, which means 1 was in my hand, 2 was in the energy, and 1 was in my life. So the odds of that happening was astronomical. But it was a cool. This was a so cool match. He basically used the Bardock to finish the game, which was kind of cool because I had predicted this would happen as a recovery card. So I guess Bardock, the Mass Saiyan, could use the SJ3 Bardock the best because it clears the board really well. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say about this match. It was a really cool match. Locals challenge. I hope you guys enjoy the video and some of my commentary. I'll see you guys on the next video.